and everything. Today's star date is the 31st of February, 2125. Today's a very special day for our very special passenger. It's a birthday today, and we set up something just a little special game for them. A scavenger hunt. There are 4 notes for you to find. Good luck, and I'll see you at the party. But better hurry up. I bet Carl is eyeballing that cake again.
Oh, Carl. All right, take 3 for recording this. The last 20-minute or so run through I just did, I was not even recording. And the first time I was actually doing a lot of this while talking, which is very distracting. And I'm sure you would have just been rolling your eyes the whole time. So, all right. Yeah, going on an hour of trying to get this thing done. I'm going to knock it out this time. So, as you could hear there, some of Cody's voice work. I was pleasantly surprised with that. His voice work in general was all very good quality. So good on him. That was good stuff. Charity added these pictures, give our little more story to the environment as well as some life. So you understand, like, also to reiterate the whole fact that you're a kid and you're living here. Some of the assets I made here, unfortunately, the textures, I don't know if they're applied. In a lot of cases, there's just a lot of black. I understand Charity had some issues with the materials and textures. I didn't have the issues on my end when I imported them into Unity to see if they were working, but that doesn't mean my experience, was going to be the same as hers. So, like I said, she had some issues. That was unfortunate. I don't know if this is material or the texture. A lot of the things you'll see when we go in the later levels, there's a lot of some things with darker textures, and those appear almost just as if all black. I can show you in some cases. If you look really closely, you can see them, but for the most part, Unity is just a fickle engine, and I don't know. It was. I'm certainly not going to critique anything that didn't work out for Charity because I couldn't do it. Well, I mean, maybe I could, but it would take me far longer. And she did a lot of stuff in here with regards to in-engine things. So here this is kitchen area. You need the ball. And I had not played this game prior to... I just hadn't played the game. And there were no... I don't know why it does that, but I really... I don't enjoy that. The walking thing. I don't know. It's a bug. Whatever. But, ugh. So what I was going to say... Oh, yeah. So, for anybody that's even played a PC game, the controls, for the most part, from what I could tell, were pretty similar to anything played on PC. WASD to move. Interact is usually E or F. In this case, it's E. Cycling between things is done on the number key, but which that makes sense. But at the same time, knowing that you can cycle, I don't know if that would be, if someone would assume that. I just happen to know because it was brought up in a critique, and then Charity implemented it. So that's nice. And then knowing that I could cycle, I figured out that it was the number keys because that's typical. So good on her with the button mapping, but the lack of instruction, take whatever. Do with it what you will. The game in general, though, I think overall we did a decent job. I think what our level is really lacking is some kind of animations, maybe some life, things walking around. You throw that in there, it's an entirely different game. You look at something like Octodad, and graphically, we're not far off, We're almost on par with Octodad there, which is a fun game. Has quite a bit more interactivity, or what's the functionality. But you throw a couple things walking around in here, and you're better off for it. So, some quick things to go over. All little changes Charity had made, so good on her. These tiles, if I remember correctly, it was like 2 wide. She made them much smaller, so now it's like 7 or 8. Yeah, that looks about right. 7 or 8 wide, and it looks much nicer. She gave these rooms, like, that's a green. This has like a cool touch to it, and then the gym area, from what I saw, is much warmer. So that's a nice touch. That's a good level design. I think she just did that instinctively, kind of breaking up the environment, which was really nice. At the end of this hallway, me and her had this discussion. There was nothing after the critique, so it was just, if you imagine that painting not being there, the plant was there, but the painting wasn't. So it was just very much a lot of white wall, very bland. It was something that stood out to me. So we had mentioned throwing, I had proposed maybe throwing these, what I initially made as ceiling tiles, that she then used them in the wall with an image, which I really like. It's a nice touch. That was a nice creative decision by her. I'd mentioned maybe throwing one of those down there. She didn't want to confuse the players, so she actually, that painting was initially on that end of the hall. She moved it to the other end and threw one of those tiles at the end of the hall. So once again, a nice decision on her part. But that was just an example of one of the discussions we had from a design standpoint, and the steps she took to implement them, and I think it paid off. It was good. This is some of the texture stuff I was referring to. I don't know if this even has one. The table, it looks like it does. I don't know if that's the right one, though. I don't know what that line is there. The couch, that leather, looks like it was supposed to be on the bottom and stuff. We didn't discuss any of these things. Maybe I could see some of my labeling being confusing and stuff, but like I said, she had issues, so not all of it could be resolved with. She had to do that as well as, put the game together, so I don't fault her for some of this stuff getting messed up. Like this looks nice, because I made this in Maya to be transparent, and then here it is. When I imported it myself, I couldn't get it to work, but she did. Unfortunately, like it's supposed to have like a marble swirl type texture at the bottom. I'm sure it's there because it's all one object and that top piece is there, but you can't see it. That's like this vending machine. There is a texture here, and if you look really close there on the light, and maybe you can see that faintly because there is a light, it looks like she put in here, but for the most part, we have a lot of emissive lighting because she had issues baking the lighting and stuff, and Unity, like I said, it is touchy. So yeah, this was corrected. This was brought up in the critique. They both were initially sideways, like that one. I think she just didn't get to that or forgot. I did fix it, but it's good to have them both here so you can see the difference. Basically, that one should look like this one, but with drinks. Except this one has a black square there where I removed that sticker because I assumed that metal piece would be fine underneath it, but for whatever reason, that is still, it more or less just removed it. Well, it's still there. It's just the image is gone, but like for some reason the UV has a square there. I don't know. Odd. Nonetheless. Crap, did I forget the thing? Oh, right. So the riddle system, bit vague, in my opinion. Easier for Charity to decipher them because, she had come up with them and stuff. And I don't think if I didn't know what each one referred to, I don't know if I would understand. When I played this on my own, before knowing anything, actually, I thought don't add water. I knew there was a note in the plant down there at the end of the hole, and I thought that's what it was referring to. I was like, oh, fake plant, don't add water. Let me go grab that note. And then I couldn't figure out why this had a note on it. But don't add water actually refers to this being a dry food vending machine. So the next logical step would be to come over here and grab this one. Didn't plan this. I think that one refers to the plant. Why or how? No idea. It's the way Charity's mind works. You'd have to ask her. Okay, so this one, this one I might be able to get. It's simple enough. You go around knocking, and this, get back to, this is where a lot of Cody's voice work and the sound effects as well. I believe if he did the walking or the knocking even, it was all very good high quality stuff. So take a look at some of that. Nothing.
I'm not part of your party, little boy. Get going. Go away. Why are you still knocking on my door? I hate you.
But it sounds on par with, I mentioned.
Go away!
I mentioned Octodad. For whatever reason, his voice gives me a Borderlands vibe. Like, I think someone in there sounds, especially one of these doors down here, very similar. But the knocking and stuff, it's convincing.
Why?
He did a good job with, like, the...
Oh, that cranky old man. Oh, not this one, little boy. Keep going. You might find the right one if you keep looking around, though.
That was a very Borderlands vibe for me. I don't know why. But I don't know if he used reverb or whatever, but it sounds convincing and it works. It's good. And I happen to be a big, I think, sound.
Turn 45 degrees to reach your destination.
Adds a lot to the game. In my Unreal level, I had quite a bit of...
Hello, winner, winner. You have won a note. Continue on to win your prize of the day, birthday boy.
The collision box or whatever it is that allows that to go. Coding, scripting, no thank you.
Hello, winner, winner.
You
have won
larger.
a note. Continue on to win your prize of the day.
Alright, so this one implies you have to go to the gym. And you need the basketball to do so. But yes, I like the changes that Charity made. And I think I went over everything in here. I don't know. But I don't have access to the actual game file because it was too large to put on Google Drive or whatever, because only Charity had the file because she was doing, basically all the Unity stuff. So I only have access to the executable, and this is like my run-through walkthrough. Some pull-up bars that don't look like they have a texture. I did make a texture for it. Not that it was much better than not having one. That probably looks better than what I did, though, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, the gym mats. Yeah, that worked out well. Don't really, I don't need the FBXs to know how those might look, so that turned out well. I just threw that on there. And unfortunately, Cody had made nearly all of his assets in 2016 Maya, which I didn't have access to. I tried to download on my computer, but the final step, it basically downloaded the whole thing. So somewhere in the final steps, it wouldn't allow me, some kind of error to download. And I think it might have wanted me to get rid of some 2017 files or folders or the program itself, but I wasn't willing to do that. So I wasn't able to do it. So I had him give me the UV layouts. And unfortunately, without the FBX itself, knowing how that looks when doing the textures, like a lot of these buttons on the panel and stuff were just kind of sprawled out because it was automatic unwrapping, so I had no idea what was what. Luckily, the little panel there with the blurred out Rubik's Cube image worked out, but I didn't want to put, I didn't want to end up making this gym mat or the treadmill part like blue or something or rainbow colored, and then that all be black or something. So it's kind of a safe bet. This is a really good model on his part, though. I wish I could have done better with it. I would have, it would have been nice to have that silver and then some buttons, and then even just make the white works, but maybe give it a little bit more something or other. And then you can see here, The black is textured. That might be a little too big, though. You can barely see it for the model itself, which is another thing, I can't tell until I see it. And you can barely see it in here, unfortunately. Something with blacks and Unity. Well, black coat. Anyways, jeez. So, Cherry did a good job offsetting these. We had discussed, at the time this was empty at Critique, I told her don't be afraid to multiply the crap out of any given assets that would end up working. Because unfortunately, yeah, the 2016, there were problems across the board with that. Which, not Cody's fault. He just happens to be working on the older version. But yeah, if you do watch this or listen, you should definitely update. So she did a good job offsetting these, and it looks good, despite there being like 20 of them. I like it. It fits, and it's a great way to fill this room. Another one of Cody's. This was a really good interpretation of future dumbbells and like the weight rack or something. And that had some texture UV issues, I think, as well. I think that's just a material, but it did a good job on those as well. Oh, and then the gym, the basketball hoop worked out nice. That was pretty simple, so no problems figuring out how to texture that one. We discussed initially that bottom area, the tables were kind of spread out, and you would get off the elevator, walk around, look at the present, the cake and stuff, and then there was like music. But what we discussed is moving the tables closer to the exit of the elevator and putting the presents and cakes there, and that would kind of draw your attention. And then Charity scripted an end game, there was like some music, celebratory audio stuff that would play, and then the game would end before you could go around exploring, realizing how empty the gym was. But also, we put the basketball hoop, which should be in plain sight, so that if you do happen to look past the presents and the cake and stuff and wonder, what's going on back there, you'll realize, oh, it's a basketball court, and that would explain why it's kind of void of. Oh, I forgot. Charity made this so you can cycle. There's an empty cycle thing. Stop walking around with that. Anyways, squirrel. So yeah. That is all. This is my walkthrough. Overall, happy with the team did. Special thank you to Charity for going above and beyond, putting a lot of this stuff together. Because she is the Unity expert in our group. I doubt it would have even looked this good had I tried to throw it all together, given the time we had. So, yep, that is all. Thanks for watching. I forgot I gotta access that. And I'll see you next year.